130 hours later, and I am still enjoying Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but there is some new information about mod support, the expansions that are coming later this year that is looking mighty exciting, but there is one thing that is missing, in my opinion. Let's go. Let me know which of these you're most excited about in the comments down below. We'll start with the recent news, which is actually the modding support. So recently, Warhorse Studios put out a little note on the Steam page as well as on their socials saying that official modding is coming to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Bohemia is about to get even more exciting. Official modding support is coming to KCD2 on Steamworks. Stay tuned for more details on how you can create, tweak, and expand your medieval adventure. I'm really excited for this. Like, official modding support is always something that's great. I would love if this does come to console eventually. Like, I know that it's a pretty rare thing. Like, it's really only those Bethesda games with like the Creation Club that have got that sort of thing. It would be nice if it does come to console support. The Steamworks workshop stuff is actually pretty easy to use, which I think is nice that you can sort of do all this in Steam. Like, you don't have to do it outside of Steam. I used to use this feature a lot for All Cities Skylines, like that OG one, because I'm a big fan of these Skylines games, like in my own personal enjoyment. I hope we do hear more about it soon though, as stay tuned for more information. Doesn't tell us exactly when it's going to come or what we can expect. Also, if there is actually, like when they say official modding support, does that mean they're going to actually put out a modding kit? Very similar to how with the Bethesda games, they put out that creation kit that you can download and actually mod support officially that way, or is it just that they're going to have the dashboard? We'd definitely like to see a bit more information on that. Now, there is some free updates coming to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 between March and June based on the roadmap trailer that they did initially put out. The first one that they have listed is the barber feature. Now, this is a feature that was in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, though it was added after launch, and you have a few different hairstyle options as well as like beard and mustache options as well. This is something that I was a little disappointed that wasn't in KCD 2 at launch, considering like it was obviously added to KCD 1 after the fact, but you know, they've had 8 years since then and all that time involved, and they obviously put the feature into 1. I did just kind of assume it was going to be here at launch, though it wasn't, but I am excited that it is coming. I can't wait to give my Henry a dirty mustache and some wild hair. The next is the hardcore mode, which again was a feature that was in KCD 1 that will come to KCD 2. What's different about Kingdom Come Deliverance's hardcore modes, and assumably will be the same for 2, is that when you start a new game, it doesn't necessarily like treat it as a survival mode from like a Fallout where it just makes the game's mechanics a lot harder. You will have to choose these perks that add detrimental effects to your Henry. Now, you can choose all of them, which will make the game significantly harder, but you at least have to pick a couple of them, and it adds to that roleplay element. It adds to making the game harder in a specific way that you want to, which I quite like. And then there's also the challenge of picking all of these perks that just make the game way harder. I'm definitely going to be trying a hardcore mode playthrough when it does come out, and I'll probably have some guides and things for helping you guys get better at it. I do, however, hope that as part of the hardcore mode, they tweak some of the game's economy and groschen earning and ways you can earn the groschen a little bit, because it is quite simple to become just like an entrepreneur and have an insane amount of gross and just buy everything you need, which does undermine the hardcore mode elements a little bit when you can just have like unlimited food, the best armor in the game, best weapons, etc. But I think that's part of the balancing. I'm curious to see how they find that balance in KCD2 once it does come out. And the last free update coming between March and June is horse racing. Horse racing is kind of in the game a little bit. You'll do a couple of them, but not really. But having an actual horse racing like tournament or something like that in the game, that similar to how you've got those unarmed challenges in both the regions, that you can go and do those, earn some groschen, have a bit of fun. I am interested to see how the horse racing goes once it does come out. And I do obviously have my video about all the horses, which has the fastest horse in it, so you're already prepared for once that does come out. Something that I would like them to add, which maybe it does exist in the game and I just haven't found it yet, it's entirely possible. I would love a dice tournament. That is the one thing that I would just really love, like a legitimate dice tournament where you can go like climb through the ranks of like beating all these different people and like become like the dice champion of Kuttenberg, something like that. Maybe it's in the game. If it is in the game and I just haven't found it, please let me know in the comments, because I just want to play more dice and I really like playing dice. That's all I have to say about that. The paid expansions are also coming this year. There's 3 of them coming out of different windows, and we did get a little bit of a clarity on the windows that they're actually coming as well. Now, these are obviously subject to change, like depending on development, but I would expect that some of this is mostly ready to go, especially the last one, which I'm kind of confused that it's the last one that's coming out, considering it's kind of half in the game already, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. The first one that's coming is Brushes with Death. That's coming between April and June this year. This is a brand new quest line to help a mysterious artist with an enigmatic past. We don't know too much more about this other than the little image that they have provided us. Exactly what we can expect here, I don't know. I would personally, if you're thinking about what to expect from these expansions, expect this one to be the shortest of them. I would sort of say this is probably going to be like a 2 or 3 quest chain sort of quest that'll have, a bit of choice and consequence in there that'll send you around Kuttenberg area or Trotsky or both, who knows. But I wouldn't expect this to add a giant amount of content, especially with it being first and coming so soon after the launch as well. This feels like it just might be like a quite large quest chain that you'll be able to do, but who knows, right? Like Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 had some absolutely brilliant DLC, so this could be bigger than I think, because the reason I think this is going to be the smallest is I think a lot of those resources are going to be pulled into these last 2. The first one being Legacy of the Forge, that is coming between July and September 2025. This adds a new quest line to restore Kuttenberg's Forge and become a master blacksmith. Now, in Kuttenberg, you will probably know that there are a bunch of blacksmiths and swordsmiths and everything that have their own shops. Restoring Kuttenberg's Forge and becoming a master blacksmith, to me, that reads that similar to in K-City 1, how you had that town that you could manage. Here, you'll be managing that blacksmith store and you'll be able to do some blacksmithing yourself. Hopefully, you'll be able to sell items and become a real entrepreneur in that way and be able to actually have a shop that runs, maybe have an apprentice blacksmith that does a lot of the blacksmithing for you, have the shop running and be able to sell things, a bit more of that management sort of sim style, which I would love. Don't know if that's what's going to happen, but hopefully it is. I think something else that I would really like this DLC to add is more blacksmithing things that you can actually make. Right now, it's simply swords, axes, and horseshoes, but there are so many more weapons that you could add to that. I'd love to be able to craft my own armor and just spend more time in that blacksmithing loop, because it's quite a fun mini game that isn't as developed as I was hoping it to be, but it is worth doing. So hopefully this DLC will actually fulfill what I think the blacksmithing could be in the game. And the last paid expansion that we know about is called Mysteria Ecclesiae. I'm probably saying that very wrong, but it's actually Latin and translates to Mystery Church. And this is scheduled to come between October and December of this year. There's a new quest line to explore the Sedlat's monastery to stop the spreading of a deadly illness. The reason why I am surprised that this is the last one in this list is because the Sedlat's monastery is technically in the game right now. You just can't go in it. And if you use the photo mode to bring the camera up, you can actually see that the inside of the monastery isn't actually filled out yet, but there is a space in the world designated for this DLC, essentially, that's already there. So I don't think that means that this is cut content that they're selling or something like that, but it essentially means that they've already prepared that space. They sort of have a rough idea of where it's going to go, what those spaces are going to look like. It's just they got to develop that actual quest. Interested to see if this is going to be a similar monastery quest like what's in the first game. I don't expect that we'll be breaking into the monastery as a monk and pretending to be a monk and trying to sleuth out some mystery like we were in the first game, as that's a little bit too similar, but no doubt we will be exploring the monastery. And I think probably why this is settled to be the last one is if you think about how in depth that monastery section was in KCD 1 with all the different NPCs having their day and night cycle, the different tasks that they were doing. I would think that maybe we're going to get a little bit of a similar variant on that, where in the monastery itself, it's going to have such a very specific NPC reactivity and the way that they move around at various times of the day, that maybe that's why this is the last one, because that takes a little bit of time to get all that working properly. But who knows? I'm really just spitballing ideas here, but I'm very curious to see what this is going to be. And I'd also love to know what your thoughts are on these paid expansions in the comments down below. Do they meet your expectations at the moment? Are you expecting more or less from them? Or even more than these 3 initial ones? We did get more than 3 DLCs for KCD 1. I do wonder if they've got more cooking here for KCD 2, especially considering how well it is sold. It would make sense to try and squeeze some more money out of us, you know what I mean? From a business perspective. But anyway, obviously let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching this video till the end. Thank you to our members for supporting the channel. My name is NorZZa, and I hope you have a great day.